That's the story we are doing today. Bengaluru joking. But brace yourself, we are not just going to create panic, but give you solutions. Once known as the garden city for its great weather amongst all the major cities in the south of India, this is a kind of a wake up call for all Bangalorean. Like I said initially, brace yourself, because according to a report filed Spare the Air by Greenpeace India, Bangaloreans breathe air 5 times worse than the World Health Organization guidelines. Now, what does this mean? Mainly that the pollution levels are extremely dangerous, and this could lead to several diseases like lung infection, asthma, depression, low weight births amongst children. Who's responsible, you may ask? You could be asking now, even as you watch this show. Well, mainly vehicular emissions, they are saying. And I think the government, which may draw up grand plans, but then look at the result. This is the result that we have. According to WHO safe level, it's 5 micrograms, which is actually set, and Bengaluru was found to have an annual average PM of 2.5 concentration, which is 5.8 times higher than the safe levels. Like I said, it's been set by the World Health Organization. Is there a solution in sight? Perhaps there is, but if we really are cautious, because I don't think that all of us have a right to ruin a city, because we have to leave this for the next generation amongst others. There could be several other reasons, of course. Should we start the debate? Let's find solutions. Joining me now is, we are waiting for certain guests, and I promise you, you will get the most comprehensive debate here. But first up, Joseph Hoover, environmental activist, is joining us. Mahesh Kashyap, who is also an environmentalist, and we shall add more guests as we go along. Joseph Hoover, what do you make of this report? I'm sure that as someone who keeps a very keen eye and a firm handle over issues which are like this, 5 times more than the average as specified by the WHO. Do you think we were getting there, and today it's out there, we've gotten there?
No, this has always been there, Sudha. The last 8 years ago, I remember one of the forest officers, Mr. Sunil Panwar, was telling me that Bangalore is tipping. The PM2 levels are ppm levels are going berserk, and there'll be no comeback for us. He says this is the sign that, because he's come from Himachal Pradesh, he understands what it is. So he was telling me that. And at that point of time, of course, there was a lot of debate. The Pollution Control Board also was involved in this. But if you look at it, what's happened 8 years ago, we heard about it. Today, we are in the midst of such high levels of pollution. Our air quality index is pathetic. I mean, we are trying to chase the glory of Delhi. Delhi is the worst. A lot of people know about. But where we are going, unfortunate that we are letting this happen. See, it's not that the government is not aware of it. The government is aware of it, but they're allowing things to go berserk. Like if you look at it, when you talk about the vehicular pollution, yes, we are topping it because the number of vehicles on our roads is the density of vehicles is very high. Yes, that is one side part. But look at the way people go about, burning plastic, burning everything that they get. So we have been noticing this. Even recently, we took up an issue just after the World Environment Day. We wrote to the Pollution Control Board saying that in Hoskur, close to Whitefield, people are burning heaps of plastic every day,
Yeah,
and the
but
air is polluted.
yeah, sure. You spoke about near Hosur, but Whitefield, you remember the graphite, India case. I
Yep.
mean, that is people, citizens movement also. And, salute to them that they had to shut down. But, is it enough? And that is the whole question, to take all these things, plastic burning, then there is dust from construction, there is, of course, vehicular emission. We look at this, these are micro problems. At a macro level, cities which do well, there is constant monitoring, Joseph Hoover. It's not a knee jerk. It's like the way you said it, I don't mean to really, kind of sit on judgment on you, Joseph, but the way you said, we were getting here, that kind of what to do. It's almost like we have to accept the fate that's been given to us.
No, but I was expressing the said we knew this is happening and we allowed this to happen. That the government agencies have failed. We have a
Exactly.
Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. We have all kind of agencies, but still they're not even able to address the situation.
Right.
I mean,
Let
if
me,
you look at it, where we are going, it's all, it's a common knowledge today that Bangalore is polluted beyond redemption. But
yeah,
what are we doing about it? The
exactly.
government has failed, we have also failed because
Yeah.
we are contributing to that.
Yeah. So the new
So this
government,
is
let me
something
bring,
which is complex.
you're absolutely right. Mahesh Kashyap, let me bring you in here. You see, there is a new government in place. So BBMP is in focus. There have been a couple of deaths. It rains every year. So you quickly call some officer, shunt them around. You think you've done the duty, you know. So the point is that I think successive governments have not taken it seriously. I mean, who has the right to ruin a perfectly beautiful city, which, like I said, which had the best weather, not just the best weather, but even on environmental parameters was up there. But look at it today. I mean, it's such a pity. Now, Karnataka Pollution Control Board, I mean, I heard it has only 23 units, it needs to increase. But do you think, do they even do due diligence? Do they monitor regularly, Mahesh?
First of all, thanks for inviting me to the
Such a
program.
pleasure.
Yeah. See, people need to have ground level knowledge. That's most important. See, we can sit in air conditioned offices and make decisions, but it's a whole different ball game. Increasing the number of monitoring stations is great. Fine. Then what do you do with the data? See, let's say, for example, they have a monitoring station in Majestic. There's one on the railway station. So what do you do? Now, if it is showing high numbers, what do you do? We need to understand one thing. Pollution is not only local, it's long distance. Pollutants travel a long distance. A cement factory in Wadi, for example, those particles, depending upon the weather conditions, they can travel all the way to Bangalore. Absolutely. For example, I work for the Canadian government with the Government of Canada Department of Environment. We found POPs, persistent organic pollutants, that are banned in Canada. When we did the investigation and the research, we found out that it was coming from China. So you
All
can
right.
imagine China to Canada, it's a long distance. So what's there from Wadi to Bangalore? So we shouldn't just say it is local pollution. It's also long distance from other sources. But the local pollution will be more. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
See, first of all, we need to have more people who have the technical knowledge. See, developing a policy is fine. How do you implement it?
Right.
People need
Mr.
to have
Kashyap, I have
yes.
seen that this is the same perennial problem that we face even when it comes to urban planning. Sir, we've done a lot of shows on BBMP's failure, about the death of young people. On the one hand, we have people who have knowledge, but they are never the stakeholders. It's just politicians and bureaucrats, and they think they know everything and they take it forward. And, like Joseph was saying, that we knew it coming. And I could see there was a tinge of sadness in his voice. So we are all today ruing over the fact that everyone is culpable in this. Avinash Kumar Chanchal, who is the campaign manager, climate and energy, Greenpeace India, is also joining us now. Avinash, considering that you were in the middle of this, because I have also read the detailed report that you did, also giving us data on Bhopal, for instance, giving us data on other cities. But at the end, you also give solutions. I want to first ask you, and I want it to come from you. Do you think this was expected? Because I have read even past reports in newspapers about this same problem, and like my friend Joseph Hoover said, it was coming. But look at it. Just to say it was coming does not suffice. No, Avinash Kumar Chanchal, why did it happen is the question. Why are the Bangaloreans breathing bad? That is the whole question.
Definitely, what you have already mentioned about the vehicular emissions, and if you see there are various reports, and even the government's own data says multiple times that the transportation sector and burning fossil fuel in transportation sector is one of the major contributor to air pollution crisis, whether it's PM 2.5, and now we also analyzed NO2, and we found that it's also not meeting the WHO standards. And like it's very clear that the pollutant like NO2 has a direct.
You have to tell people what NO2 is, sir. I'm sorry, because I think that's the way, you know, lots of people will understand. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, I would leave it to you to explain what is NO2 and what does it do.
Yeah, so I would start with PM particulate matter. So basically, particulate matter is an air pollutant.
Right.
And when I'm saying PM 2.5, that means particles less than 2.5 micrometers in diameter are called fine particles, right? And then the NO2 is also another kind of air pollutant which generates from burning fossil fuel, whether it's in power sector or transportation sector. So in terms of like to be more like precisely, like if you say if I'm saying PM10, that means these particles are less than 10 microns in diameters, about 1/7 the thickness of a human hair. So what I'm trying to say is it's not visible. So when we talk about air pollution, we often, since we can't see it, we consider that there is no air pollution.
Yeah, let me ask you something, Avinash. Is it also that, you know, when you say that Bengaluru is 5 times worse than what is considered safe by the World Health Organization, is it quasi-serious, is it serious, or is it really extremely serious, the condition?
I would say it's extremely serious, because the problem with the south, like when we talk about air pollution in Bengaluru, we often, and the problem with the other cities also, that we often compare the data from the North Indian cities, which is, I would say, a very wrong way to see air pollution crisis. Because when the WHO has revised the air pollutant in 2021, they made very clear that even the lowest level of exposure of air pollution is very dangerous for a human health.
Right.
So anything beyond 5 is should be considered as a very dangerous.
Right. Fine. So Avinash, very well said. Joseph Hoover, I want to ask you, and this is a conundrum. This is always, they say, okay, so are you saying we should shut down all factories? Are you saying that, you know, there should not be, after all, modern civilization is also about certain things which are necessary, it's mandatory. How do we get a balance here? You know, like what Mr. Mahesh was saying, that, you know, it's also coming from outside. Like they said he's worked in Canada, it was coming from China. What is the way out? And I refuse to believe that the government doesn't know this.
See, the government does know. It's not that they're not aware of it. Also, we need to understand that when you talk about the industries, being ours is a developing country, so we need development, we need industries, we need all kind of work being done. But the real fact is that there are checks. The government has certain conditions laid out for the industries, there are regulations. But how many people follow that? You talk about the biotechnology industry, the chemicals. They are polluting our soil, our water bodies, even our groundwater is contaminated. Look at the pharmaceutical companies. They are the guys who give us medicine whenever we fall sick, and they themselves are polluting most of our water bodies and groundwater levels. There's arsenic, there's fluoride, there's every kind of issue. Everybody knows about it. You look at what's happening in our lakes. Everything, all the effluents from the industries come into our lakes, and they are also polluted beyond redemption, as I said earlier. So there are checks and measures are there, but the industries themselves are not following. There are certain people whom I know are big honchos, business honchos, who are also part of the Bangalore development program, but they themselves are doing it. So
Yeah.
it has to start at their home. They need to start there and then come out and say, okay, Bangalore, you also need to do that. So this is not happening. And
Right.
we have been engaged with people, talking to them, saying that we all need to participate in this to stop it, but it's not happening. It's very unfortunate. It's frustrating.
Mr. Mahesh Kashyap, let me bring you in here. Mr. Kashyap, you know, the thing is are we looking at the entire problem through a prism which is faulty? So, you know, the population has exploded now. Bangalore is not the same city it was even 5 years ago. You know, it has more people coming in to work there. Bangalore also has infrastructure which became mandatory earlier. This kind of infrastructure, look at all the you know, the underpasses and the highways which have been built because the city expanded. Do you think that it is all wrong? We are, I mean, not to blame the Karnataka Pollution Control Board. Is there a new approach that is required so that, I'm not saying that, you know, a miracle needs to happen, but we can at least mitigate the problem?
See, air pollution cannot be totally reduced to zero. Let's be honest and realistic about it. We can reduce it easily, not an issue. Ma'am, you raised urban planning issue. Do we really have urban planning? I'm wondering actually. See, Bangalore can expand on 360-degree, not like Chennai or Mumbai, where there is one side there's water, and private layouts are coming, things are expanding. A matter of time, we'll go beyond, we'll reach Nalmangala and go beyond. As we grow, more things need to be put in place. For example, public infrastructure and also public transport. I think metro is going everywhere now, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. So I love metro. I'm a big supporter of metro. So I used to travel a lot, both by the green line and the purple line. Still, given a chance, I would love to travel. But things are different. Now we have a new policy. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritties of politics, but a lot of things people don't want to, and they lost my connectivity. People
Right.
are also wondering about it. See, you cannot bring metro to your doorstep. Let's be honest. You need to catch an auto or get your bike and then get onto the metro, park your bike in the train station. But a lot of people say, no, I want to be mobile.
Right,
When
right.
yes, I want when I'm out, I want to be mobile. I will take my bike or car. I'm watching the video you are showing. It looks like a unpaved road,
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Yes, yes. No wonder there is a lot of dust coming out of it. One more thing I want to point out here is we are so stuck on PM 2.5. Even a newborn baby will say PM 2.5. No, we need to look beyond it. Not PM 2.5 is important. There are other things like volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, hops, all those things, heavy metals.
All
So
right.
we need to look at those things also because they're also very harmful
Yeah,
to
right.
health.
But this report is mainly focusing on that, you know, spare the air. And I think we need some kind of a beginning point to, you know, kind of have all of us wake up and smell the coffee. Avinash Kumar Chanchal, you also give solutions. And I think that, you know, it is time that, you know, like Mr. Mahesh was saying, that, you know, we need, Mr. Kashyap, I beg your pardon, was saying that we need to have solutions. You can't look at a problem, you know, just through one angle and say, okay, here it is. I want to ask you, what is the way out? Give me 5
See,
solutions, Avinash Kumar Chanchal.
the good thing with the air pollution is that we don't need to invest in science and we don't need a new research to find out the solutions. It's been there since like many years
Okay?
that burning fossil fuel in power sector, burning fossil fuel in transportation sector has been one of the major contributor to air pollution crisis. So we know that like bringing clean energy, bringing public transport, efficient public transport can really solve this crisis. But
It's
at the
such a,
same time, I would also like to mention that we really need to come up with the airshed management approach. So as we know that air pollution doesn't have a political boundary, right? So if we want to solve this crisis, we have to have a regional approach. We need to. We are already have we are already are part of the National Clean Air Action Program, which is supposed to like the The aim of the program was to reduce 20 to 30% of air pollution by 2024. But I know, and we know that with this data also, that we are nowhere. We are not reaching to our objectives of National Clean Air Action Program. The other thing is that the State Pollution Control Board can really play a very important role. We don't know, we are not aware about the crisis. So we really need to have at least Bangalore, there are estimates that at least Bangalore needs 41 air quality monitoring stations, but we don't have those air quality monitoring stations in place. Then how we are generating our waste, how we are doing pollution in the construction sector, how and then the other episodic events like fire burning, firecrackers and all are contributing to air pollution crisis, and we really need to come up with the action plan which can address all these.
Mr. Chanchal, I don't, you've done a wonderful report. Like I said, there has to be a starting point. But whatever you're saying sounds like a pipe dream to me. I mean, green fuel, seriously? The kind of cars, the kind of vehicles that everyone encourages you to buy every day. In every city, show me a family of 4 which does not have 3 cars at least, if they're all adults. So, and the Pollution Control Board, well, it should know that there's an emergency. Why are you cutting them slack? They should know that there's an emergency. I mean, they are not working to their fullest capacity at all. And that brings me, Avinash Kumar Chanchal, this wonderful report that you've done, but that brings me to the crux of the matter. Joseph Hoover, do you think that in this country, we really don't care about all this? We are interested in winning, election after election and occupying a seat. Who cares about what is the weather, the environment getting polluted or noise pollution is increasing? This is not on our radar. It's more like Bajrang Bali and all that. Go on, sir.
Yeah. See, the way we need to start is, look at the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. Who heads it? The man who gives the highest bid, he is the man who is the chairman there.
See, look.
And also what happens is, secondly, the guy who's in charge, who was the director, member secretary, he needs to be an expert. There's a High Court order saying that only experts with such background should be there. But still we don't have. This has been happening for the last 15 years. We are in the same mess. So it has to start. If things have to start for the better, for a better future, we need to clean up the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board. Even recently, there's been a controversy regarding that. Somebody who has no knowledge has been brought in as a chairman. And he wants to bring his own people there. So this has to start there. Cleansing has to start there. When you talk about just KPSC, Karnataka State Pollution Control Board, we need to come into the picture. Because we've been talking to a couple of doctors over a period of time because of cardiovascular disease is increased because there's so much of particle in the air, and the nitrogen thing is also impacting a lot of people. So, so these are things that people know, and what are we doing about it? I speak to about 10 friends. 2 of them will say, yes, we need to do something about it. The other 8 will say, hey, it's not my concern, why the issue about this. So this approach itself is totally wrong.
It's not
we are all in it together.
We are all in it together, but we are made like that. There's no point, Joseph, anymore trying to convince ourselves. We are made like that. Mahesh Kashyap, do you think that, if there is some kind of, I'm asking you there because there are cases of low weight birth in babies. It's been proven. It's been proven. So I'm saying that if there is some kind of a legal action or there is punishment, do you think that at least that will make 0.0000.1 kind of a difference to people? Because otherwise this is all, who cares, sir? It all falls on deaf ears, don't you think?
See, we need to look at what you're saying is right. There's the issue of low birth weight and other things on health issues. Ma'am, let's see how many years it takes to solve a case. 10, 20, 30? And there's adjournment after adjournment. Tariq pe tariq, as they say in Hindi. I'm sure you know what I'm saying. So, this is a sensitive issue because we need to change the criminal justice system, and environment is the last thing it's on the people's mind. That has to change. As they say, we need to think out of the box. We need to think differently. As they say in Hindi, "Soch badalna chahiye." So we need to change the way we think. So yes, I am positive about pollution being reduced. See, we need to have in the NCAP program. They say 20 to 30% reduction should be there. Why are you giving the range? That bothers me. Make it 20 or 25 or 30. Make it 30 and let's work on it. 20 to 30, do whatever you want, somehow do it. No, somehow do it doesn't work. So we need to be more serious. We need to have people who have the knowledge, who are really into this.
All right. Let me now go to Avinash. Avinash, I want to ask you that you've also done, you've also compared other cities. So, in the south, I mean, if you look at Bengaluru and if you look at other cities, where does Bengaluru stand?
So the one thing is that we don't do ranking of the cities
You don't
because
compare, yeah, okay.
because we strongly believe that each city has like as I mentioned that any level of air pollution is a dangerous situation for human health, and it is like we should really consider this as a public health emergency, and then we need to act on it. So like clearly we didn't do the ranking of it, but it's still what the trend we have been observing, and it's not that the first time we did this report. Last year we also did the similar report with the analysis of South Indian cities, and we found that almost like all these cities are exceeding at least 6, 7, 8 times WHO standards. So the situation is really very bad, and we really need to act on it.
Yeah,
Whether
but
it's your
but
whether it's your
Avinash, what do you do with the stakeholders, people who can really bring about change? Or are you saying this is the report, now act on it?
No, so we have been working with communities, and we have been raising this issue for like last many years. And many times we mobilized the communities, and we did demonstrated many times these reports we presented to the government bodies. Right now, like as we talked about the public transport, we really need to see, like now we are also questioning the kind of infrastructure our cities are developing. Like in the name of the solution to traffic problem, what we are doing is we are building new flyovers, right?
Yes.
Which we know that in a long run is only going to encourage the car users and only going to increase or contribute to the air pollution crisis. So especially with the Bangalore, like we have been also observing the traffic crisis, right? And what we are in our campaign is saying that if we can bring the air pollution down, that's where we can also bring the traffic congestion issues down. So we really need to have a holistic approach to deal with it, and how as a city we are developing our infrastructure, and for whom we are developing our infrastructure. Because whether we like it or not, but more than 2 million people are still using BMTC buses every day for their work. Are we providing them efficient public bus system? I don't think so. So we really need to, and they are the ones that mostly the low wage earning communities, the women, the senior citizens are most vulnerable to these.
But do you think they care? Because they are more interested in free bus travel, no?
Yeah,
like
because
in Bengaluru, they don't care you have high, they say I've got free bus travel, I don't care about pollution levels increasing. Oh, also we are very, as you know, you and I in this country, we are all very fatalistic. Oh, he'll keep us alive and all that. So don't you think there is an overall kind of ignorance when it comes to ruining our cities?
I would say the ignorance are mostly from the privileged class, because like they think that if they can buy the air purifier, they can have a cleaner air.
I
But
tell
that's
you.
true, right?
Yeah.
And somehow it became like, it's very sad to see that the clean air is becoming a luxury, which should be a basic human rights. So yeah, we really need to think about it, and we need to make it a political agenda. Unless until we are like still going ahead with the
Absolutely.
like I don't want to
and I totally agree that water, air, these are basic human rights. And if you don't have it, but unfortunately, like I say that, like I've said, I started this show by saying once known as a garden city, today this is what it is. That the pollution levels in Bengaluru are so bad that, I think that we have to really turn this entire thing over its head to start thinking afresh. I've completely run out of time. My thanks are due to all the guests today. Avinash Kumar Chanchal, thank you very much. Mr. Joseph Hoover, thanks very much. And Mahesh Kashyap. And let's all pray for Bengaluru, which is our beloved city. So, Bengaluru is choking, but I think we need solutions only if all the stakeholders are serious about the business of breathing. Let's all breathe. And for Bangalore, thank you for watching.